Gordon, what do we got here?
Hey Adam, this is Lenovo's Dell XPS 15 killer. Yes, it's a ThinkPad, but it is called the ThinkPad X1 Extreme. What you get is a 15.6-inch panel, classic corporate Jack Donaghy styling for the ThinkPad. Black rubberized finish, black rubber deck. You got your ThinkPad nub. I love these things. If you've ever used one, it's great to have it. But if you don't, you get the trackpad too. So you get both. I actually like both. There's actually a Windows Hello camera infrared integrated somewhere. Oh, sorry, up there.
Oh, up there.
And we get a fingerprint reader if you like the fingerprint reader. It's really nice.
Wow.
Let's do the ports. We're gonna go. You're gonna get. I'm just gonna show you. I don't want to unplug the power. You get two Thunderbolt 3s. Classic ThinkPad weird shaped square charger port, HDMI 2.0, a analog headset jack. Also, this of course is the custom, well, not really custom, but very rare Lenovo only Ethernet port. You get a dongle that basically plugs directly in the motherboard, so it's like PCI or PCIe, rather than a lot of gigabit Ethernet that runs through USB. A lot of corporate types like that, because you do wake on LAN or you need to wake up outside the operating system. This lets you do it. Lenovo, that's a Lenovo thing basically. Check this out though. Oh, let's do this other side. Two Type A's, SD card reader, smart card reader, and no, this is actually a Kensington lock, and this, I like this.
Oh, nice.
I like to be able to.
So it just lays flat, not 360.
Lays flat, not 360, but that's a really nice touch. There's just times when you need to move the screen back. A lot of normal laptops, right? Here's the current MacBook Pro 15. Here's the XPS 15. That's as far as they go. This baby goes all the way to the back once I move these bowls. Check that out.
Nice.
That's actually a nice feature. But you want to know what's inside of this. Why is this called the XPS 15 killer by Lenovo and the press, which is often wrong? Inside, Core i7-8850H, which is a slightly upclocked 6-core Coffee Lake H CPU. I can give you the actual clock differences. It lets you, I should have had this up. So, Turbo 4.3, base 2.6, compared to the 8750H, which you see in most Coffee Lake H laptops like the XPS 15, although there is a Core i9 option. 2.2 base, 4.1 turbo. Of course, you know, none of this really means anything if the laptop can't keep it cool, keep it running. Also, this laptop itself is just the baller version. I can't even find it on Lenovo's website. The 16 gig, 512 gig version with 4K panel and touch, this is touch, is about $3,200. This one has a 1 terabyte PM 981. Ooh. And yes, 32 gigs of RAM.
Nice.
For graphics, you get a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti Max Q. So that's 1050 Ti Max Q, which is probably a little bit faster than a Ti, a little bit faster than a 1050, a little bit slower than a Ti. So it's like a 1055. That's basically the same thing that you're going to get in the Dell, and of course, I don't remember what's even in the MacBook. I think it's a Radeon RX 560 in this particular version. Radeon Pro.
With the Core i9? Is that the Core i9?
With the Core i9. This, of course, is the famous Core i9 8950HK. And as we know, doesn't do so great in the MacBook Pro 15. It hasn't really changed. It doesn't keep it cool. One thing I do want to point out about this ThinkPad that I really love, this laptop is about 4 pounds. So that's about 4 to 5 ounces lighter than the XPS 15, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it feels in your hands really light. It's basically like the MacBook Pro 15, which I would argue the reason why the performance on the MacBook Pro 15 kind of sucks on the CPU side is it's lighter, you know? 4 ounces is a lot of metal you're gonna leave out of a laptop. So the fact that they can get this with 4K and touch, which adds a layer of glass, adds weight, 32 gigs of RAM plus a 1 terabyte drive, 4 pounds, that's pretty spectacular. So I gotta hand it to you. This is gonna be really nice in your bag. Those 4 to 5 ounces make a big difference.
But what about performance?
So for performance, let's check this out. So I actually, because I want to shorten this for you, I just earlier ran Cinebench R15 set to a single thread that tests how high that CPU will turbo up on very light loads. Although it is a 3D rendering benchmark, I think it gives you a really good idea of how a laptop will do in Chrome, in Excel, and Word for the most tasks that people do that are just simply single-threaded. You do an MP3 encode, most of the time it's a single thread. So what we're going to see is the performance, how high these laptops can hold their clock. 8850, pretty good. Of course, it is a faster CPU. 8850H is higher than 8750H by a few clocks. We see a score of 185. That's what I would expect. That's pretty good. Here is the XPS 15 with a Core i7 8750H. Remember, a little bit lower clock by decision by Intel. So you get the lower clock speed on those single thread, those light threads, 174. Not a huge amount though. Is it gonna really make a difference? Probably not. And of course, we got the Mac here. Not bad. 183 is pretty good, but when you consider that this is the highest clock Intel Core i9 part, it's a little underwhelming that basically the Core i7 8850H is as fast as the Core i9 8950HK. That's on them though, but I want to run this in multi-thread. You want to know how these are going to do if you run video encoding, 3D rendering, those things that will use all the threads on these 6-core Coffee Lake H parts. Let's kick these two off first, and then I'm going to kick off the Mac. I'm doing this because this is only going to take a few seconds to run. As you can see, we are cranking up all the cores. I want to see which one's going to be faster. I think 8850H has got a good, should be pretty good, but XPS 15 has really been a shocker in the performance. It's actually slightly faster than the Razer Blade 15, a gaming laptop, in CPU loads. So I want to see if it'll actually keep up with the 8850H, which, you know, is technically a higher clock. And of course, we're going to see what the Mac gets in any second. I don't think we're going to be overwhelmed there. Okay, 1159 out of the ThinkPad X1 Extreme. That is 1,179 from that Core i7 8850H. Very, very respectable. You got to give it to it. 4-pound laptop, almost 1,200 in Cinebench. Let's see what the XPS 15 got. Bam. And this is why Dell's XPS 15 is a contender. It is a contender. Dell takes this laptop, they push it really hard. We have 1,213 points in Cinebench on an all-thread load. Remember, this is a lower clock CPU. Even though the ThinkPad technically has a higher clock, if you can't hold it because of thermals, it doesn't really help you. So the XPS 15 is doing really well. Not enough to really make a difference. We're not locked. It's basically a tie, right? But damn, that's pretty good for the Dell. Also pretty good for the ThinkPad because you remember it's about 4 to 5 ounces lighter with touchscreen and 4K panel. And of course, oh, it's still running. Oh, sorry, I messed this up.
Oh, uh-oh.
I thought I unchecked it. I unchecked it.
Do over.
Do over. This really, I don't think it's totally fair on the MacBook because we were running an earlier load, about 926. But I gotta say, I have seen the best score out of the MacBook Pro 15 on a cold, you know, like fresh from boot, machine totally dead cold, about 980. So it's generally always been slower than the XPS 15. It's definitely slower than the ThinkPad X1 Extreme. Just a limitation of the MacBook Pro. It is pretty light. This is lighter than the ThinkPad Extreme by just a little bit, 4 pounds. But it also is thinner. It's definitely a little bit thinner. Let's actually close these and see what's the thinnest. Unplug these. People like the thinness. Now, of course,
It's actually pretty damn close.
it's pretty close.
Wow.
Right? It's
This one kind of tapers up.
tapers
towards the
off,
end.
you know. And you got to remember, though, you got the feet. Like, if you really want to see how thick these babies are, you can sort of flip them over. Right? Yeah, they're about the same. Not a huge difference. You know, about 4 ounces, though. Still very impressive for the ThinkPad. Let's see if I can see what the cooling is. Can I see what the cooling is inside there? I see 1 fan, 2 fans. So 2 fans. I can see at least one, probably similar to the XPS 15. I think it's a dual heat pipe with 2 fans on the edges. Of course, you know, again, I know everybody likes a bag on the MacBook Pro. I do as well, but it is just thin. Let's turn this baby over too. Now, once you turn it over, you get the feet out of there.
Thin and light.
It is just stupidly thin. That's Apple's thing. if you want to give up your performance on CPU and GPU to get this thin, hey, that's good for you. That's where to go. But pure CPU performance, ThinkPad X1 is going to rock its world, same as the XPS 15. So it really depends on what you want.
Nice.
This is just nice. This is for the styling. I'm a big fan of it. I like the way the ThinkPads look. I love ThinkPads. Yeah. I love ThinkPad keyboards. I used a T60P for the longest time. This keyboard is not quite as good, but I gotta tell you, I like it more than the one in the XPS 15, and I sure as hell like it more than the one in the MacBook Pro 15. So, good keyboard, solid performance, good weight, not cheap though. This baby's gotta be expensive. 32 gigs, 1 terabyte SSD with a 4K touch panel. It is not going to be cheap. So
does it earn its extreme name?
For a business person, yeah, this is a lot of performance. And again, business people love Lenovo. They love ThinkPad. ThinkPad is what you want if you're a business person. We have a debate here whether business people like these kind of silver laptops. I don't think so. I think business people, you go into the boardroom, you're going to get respect for this. If you go in with a silver laptop, people are going to think you're a creative type, and then they're going to make you leave the room when they got to make the important decisions. So Dan's going to talk about that later.
Dan's over here just laughing at this debate.
I don't know about that, Gordon. I think you're wrong there.
Yeah, that's great. Dan, can you leave? Because we have to make the board has the vote right now in a multi-billion-dollar deal, and we can tell from your laptop that's not black and all business. You don't belong in here. And the Hawaiian shirt doesn't help either. So
all right,
get out.
Let's go take a vote.
All right, let us know if you like all business black ThinkPad or you like this silver things. I don't know. These come with avocado toast. That's what I got to tell you. So anyway, check back, more videos, full review. Obviously rocking in performance, but how's it going to do elsewhere? Go to PCWorld.com to find out.